we were in San Diego, and we were doing a convention at a time in which we had an incumbent president who seemed wildly unpopular, and we thought we might defeat him. We didn't. But there were huge differences between that president and this president, and I believe that's what's going to make the difference. Was President William Jefferson Clinton an ideologue? Perhaps. Did he run roughshod over Republicans when we were in the minority in the House and the Senate for 2 years, only to lose his majority? Yes. But then did he make a change from the we can do it our way, we're in charge, we have a mandate, to let's figure out how we're going to get things done in an environment in which Republicans have some influence and some voice in the government? This president has done nothing like that. Now, on the way over, through the miracle of the iPad, I was saying to my staff, what was the exact best known time in which President Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify? And so we tried to get that. What we found was video after video in which Gorbachev was saying, essentially, you keep saying that every time the two of them were together, and President Reagan would, in fact, say, either in English or in Russian, trust but verify. That's the job that I have the honor to do in Washington, is to recognize that government, whether it's in Sacramento or in Washington, always says, trust us. You can trust us. We're well-intentioned, we're honest, we're different than the last administration. Well, this administration is different. This administration said, trust us. They said they're the most transparent administration in history. They started off by not honoring the Freedom of Information Act, not allowing FOIA discovery, something that the media depends on critically, not allowing it to be used without direct political influence. Secretary Napolitano personally, her staff, decided that they would review every Freedom of Information request, look at them and decide whether or not to give them to the press. And if they were going to give them to the press, whether or not to leak them or spin them in the days before it was actually delivered. That wasn't the intent of that act. And certainly when our founding fathers created 3 separate but equal branches, they empowered one of them with an army, a navy, Marines, eventually Air Force. They gave them the power to put together vast amounts of people with guns. But they envisioned that there'd be respect for the other branches and for the constitutional obligation. This president has broken that respect. This president is the first president since Richard Milhouse Nixon to claim executive privilege over his own criminal activities. Fast and Furious is, in fact, a tragedy, a misstep, a program allowed to go on in violation of all common sense. But executive privilege wasn't claimed over whether or not ATF agents or a U.S. attorney, a political appointee, made mistakes, did something stupid, or even that Lanny Brewer personally sent people down to get that program going. Executive privilege was claimed over the evidence post-February 4th of 2011 over a lie to Congress, a lie to a U.S. Senator, Senator Grassley, over 10 months of people at all levels, including Eric Holder, knowing that guns were walking, that in fact Congress had been lied to. Executive privilege was claimed over Congress wanting to know when we trust because you tell us something's not happened, and then we go to verify and find out we've been lied to, how we can hold people accountable for breaking that trust.